Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DeLorean 5510 restoration project. I've got a lot that has gotten done over the past week, so I'm going to go over some of those changes now. A little sneak peek of what I'll talk about back there. Man, I really need to clean up. Just got everything kind of thrown on the frame. So let's start up front here. So first, as you can see, the front hubs and everything are installed. The brake rotors are here. Give them a spin. The brake calipers are in place, and the hard lines are installed there, and they're installed up to the flexible lines. And yeah, so everything is done here. As you can see up front, that sway bar is almost installed. Just having a hard time getting one of the bolts, or one side of the bolt, I guess, put into the slot there. So yeah, I'll get that up soon enough. But the front end recall plates are installed. There we go. Yeah, so front hubs. Oh, let's go to the rear suspension now. At the advice of some people online, I did switch out the bolts so that these bolts are now going the other way, basically, on both sides. So originally I had it so the bolt was facing in, so I have swapped those around. I haven't quite completed as much on the driver's side, but on the passenger side here, I've got the brake hard line, and it comes down to the hub here. Give that a spin. Yeah, and I've got the brake, the brakes installed. I don't have the cable for this here because it actually is on the body, but this here is the parking brake. So when you squeeze this, it causes these two plates to go in, and that's your parking brake. And then on the back side there, that's your normal brake system. So those are looking super nice. And then yeah. So let's talk about all of this. Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so the transmission, this is the automatic transmission, and it is bolted up to the engine. There's a torque converter in the middle that sits between them, and that is all torqued down and good to go. I'm actually missing one of the bolts that holds the engine and transmission together, so I'll be ordering one of those a little bit later. And everything is still just set up here right as it came off the hoist, so I haven't taken off the chain or anything yet. But yeah, so that's installed there. I don't have the mounts fully installed, but they are in place, and the engine is on. I'm not sure if you can see down in there. So the engine is on that mount. Yeah, sorry, it's very difficult to see in there. Yeah, and then on the engine, the starter is on, and all the cover plates and everything else, so it's basically done and good to go. But yeah, still a ton of work left to do. Getting the engine set up. So I've got for example, this hose. This hose here is the main fuel line, and it has a tendency to light on fire. And so as you can see right there, this one has some melted stuff on it. So I've got a replacement for this, and that connects up to this point. So that'll get replaced. And then coming back over here, this is the fuel return line. And I think on the floor, I've got the olive and the nut, so that this thing here can connect up to there. This line here is the vacuum line, and this is for vacuum power to the brakes. And yeah, there's just a ton of little hoses and things that aren't connected, and so I have to figure out what each one of them does. I think I'm pretty sure what most of them go to, but it's definitely going to be a learning experience, and I don't expect to have the car start when I actually hook it up for the first time. I'm very much expecting it to take a couple of tries to make sure that the fuel's going to the right places and everything's plugged in. Yeah, this is sort of the main harness right here, and yeah, there's the transmission governor computer right there. So yeah, a lot going on. I've got a long list of things that I'll be doing next to the car. The cooling system is probably the biggest one that's not really going yet, and it's because the coolant pipe that runs under the gas tank here is just fighting me, and so I need to get on that and get that worked out, and then just back here, just plugging in all these different connections. So yeah, I'm so long as I get the parts that I'm waiting on. So I'm waiting on two parts. Part number one is the reinforcement bracket that goes right there, and part number two is the bracket that holds the coilover up to that hole. And so it's two very, very simple brackets. So I'm waiting on those. Once I have those, I've got everything I need to get the car up and running, I think. And so it's basically just chugging away at that. I'm hoping in 2 weeks I will have the car up and running. So that's very exciting. And yeah, so expect another update in about a week where hopefully most of these things are plugged in and working. At some point I will be testing the brakes. So I've got a brake tester set up. So the idea is those things where the red tips are. So that there's the front brakes and that there's the rear brakes. So the idea is I can pressurize those and then make sure that the brake system holds pressure. So I can do that without putting everything on the car. Now that I've got the engine in, I can also get all of the coolant tubes and everything installed. And then those that entire coolant system, except for the heater core. So up here, these two lines feed the heater core, and those are on the body. So I might be able to clamp these off or tie them together, maybe. They're flexible enough. I can probably do that and put them into a little union fitting or something, so that way it circulates. But yeah, so I'll be able to test to make sure the coolant system all works. The fuel system, I can, let's see over here. So this little connector, it's got a spot on it that I can just put 12 volts into, and it will run the fuel pump. And then I can test to make sure that the entire fuel system works and comes back here. And there's a lot of little fittings and stuff that I had to put on. So being able to test that without having to put the body on is awesome. So yeah, I can test a lot of the systems. Yeah, so that's what to look forward to here in the next couple of weeks. And I'll do a video soon. So thanks for watching.